Hey guys, this is James with Isotropic, and in this video we're going to be building a landing page with Oxygen, and I'm going to be talking about a couple extra ways that you can expand the landing page and hopefully increase your revenue. So first, let's talk about what actually makes a good landing page. And one of my favorite landing pages on the internet is Shopify because it has all of the basic features that your landing page would have. So first you have your call to action, sell online with Shopify. Basically, it tells you exactly what the product has to offer. It gives you social proof immediately as a subheading, so trusted by over 1 million businesses. And then it gives you the action, which is enter your email address, start a free trial. And depending on what you're trying to do with your page, your action might be different. It might be check out now. It might be enter your email address. It might be download now. There could be a lot of different things that you use a landing page for. You also have a visual that kind of shows what the platform does. And if you notice, it's very simple. There's no navigation anywhere. There's nothing to distract the visitor. Then you have additional information, and of course this is advertising a platform service, so it's going to be giving you monthly prices. Then it also gives you a little couple, here's why you should buy our product, and then more social proof, another social proof, and then another button. Very basic call to action, very basic landing page, and it's pretty easy to make in Oxygen. Another platform that I've seen in the past is called Unsplash or Unbounce, and Unbounce is a tool that allows you to create a bunch of different landing pages and additional things as well. In my opinion, this is incredibly overpriced. Same with Clickfunnels. This is a Clickfunnel page. This is incredibly overpriced. I think he pays this guy pays $97 per month. This is the cheapest Clickfunnels plan, $97 per month, and he ends up with this. So you might be thinking to yourself, I could definitely build this in Oxygen, and that's kind of what this video is here to show you. You can definitely build a landing page exactly like this in Oxygen. So I'm going to choose a landing page template to get quote unquote inspired from, and from that I'm going to build out the actual page. So I like this page, and the reason I like this page is because it, number one, has a lot of elements that allow me to showcase what exactly the Oxygen builder can do and what you can build with it. It has your call to action, it has your subheading, and then it has your main form, and then you get your benefits, and then you have maybe a video, social proof, additional information, goes on and on. But this is a really nice page, so I'm going to become inspired by this page and build it out on Oxygen. And then I'm also going to go at the end of the video into some ways that we can make the action that the visitor takes on the page more converting. So if you're trying to sell something, I'm going to talk about how to sell something using Oxygen. If you're trying to get emails, I'm going to talk about the best platform, form building platform to get the emails from, a couple things like that. But now let's get right into it. Let's build out our landing page using Oxygen. So here is a basic page on a website. I think I pre-installed some templates on this website. So I've created this page. You can see that it shows up right here, and then you can see that I have rendered the page using no template. And what this is going to do, it's going to give me a base canvas where there's no content on it, there's nothing on it, there's no header, there's no footer, and that's going to allow me to create what I want to create, which is something similar to the Shopify or the Unbounce page. So let's get right into it. As soon as Oxygen loads, I'm going to come back and we're going to build out the page. Okay, and we're back, and I have loaded Oxygen, and you can see that there's nothing here. And I think this is important to do when creating a landing page. Remove the catch-all header and footer templates, everything. Just give yourself a blank canvas to work with. And the first thing we're going to add is a section, and the section is the core aspect of any page, in my opinion, and it allows you to group different pieces of content together. So the top section of this template is going to be a section in its own. So first we're going to add our logo, call to action, subheading, header, and the image. And the way I'm going to do that is by creating a section, adding a full height rule. So this will become a full page section now. I'm going to go in and add a column, make it 50-50, and then within that column I'm going to add a header, and I'm going to add my text. And the reason I'm going to do this as a column as opposed to, and I'm also going to make it vertically aligned to the middle. And the reason I'm doing this is because our form is going to show up right here, and I'm going to pull it up using margin, negative margins, and this kind of gives me space for my form to be pulled up. So our product, let's make up a product, the best supplement pack. I don't know what a supplement pack is, but that's what it's going to be. And then in our subheader, we're going to add a little maybe social proof, so trusted by the top people that you look up to. And obviously this isn't something that you should say. But here's our header and our main text. Now what we're going to do is add a background image. So I'm going to go to Unsplash. And Unsplash is a free photo repository. And Unsplash will give me maybe, let's see if they have supplements. And Unsplash is free, you can use it anywhere, and it also comes with a pretty neat CDN. So when I'm roughing out websites like this, instead of downloading the image, I'm going to instead, here, this looks like a image that we could use. Instead, I'm going to open the photo. Here's an ID of the photo. I'm going to delete the photo from the URL, and I'm going to add source. So source.unsplash and then the photo ID. And you will see momentarily that now that will show as our background image. And we're going to set it to cover the page, and then we're going to overlay it so we can actually see our text with a transparent white. And I would actually go ahead and overlay a CSS gradient, so this side is more visible, but I'm not going to do that in the for time. So now I'm going to add the next section and take a look at this. So this is another 50-50, meaning that I'm going to add some columns, go 50-50, and then here is our margin, 75. So what I'm going to do with this column on the right is remove 125, and this is going to give it 50 pixels over, actually no, I'm going to go 175. This is going to give it 100 pixels of overlay on top of the original section, and this is where our form is going to be placed. And the way I'm going to do that is create a div, and then from that div make it 100%. And then from that 100%, apply a background to it, and the background will be a standard color from the atomic color set. And this, we're going to make it a standard color like so. And then within there, we're going to add our shortcode. And the shortcode, we didn't actually make a form. I probably should have, but this is where you would place your form, and we're not going to render it in Oxygen, so I could throw placeholder height in here. We'll make it 400. We'll actually make it 500 pixels wide. So we'll do that, and then what we will also do is add a custom effect of box shadow, which will cause it to pop out of the page. And I like doing 15 transparency, so 0.15. That's our transparency. Shadow offset 5 pixels, shadow offset 5 pixels, shadow blur 30 pixels. That usually works out pretty well. I'm also going to, because we're now using 50% as our There we go. We're going to set that to 50%, and I'm actually going to go back in and make this column offset, remove 25 pixels. So now it's 150. And now we'll add our basic icon boxes. So if you go back to here, here's an icon box. So you have your icon, you have your header, you have your text. And the way I will do this is make the icon position to the left, and this literally copies exactly what this is doing here. And I'll change our column color or icon color by clicking on the actual icon and going and changing the color to one of our core color sets. And then what I'm going to do, I have Hydrogen Pack installed, and I'm going to just right click and duplicate this 3 times, and this will kind of give us our basic layout. And then what I'm also going to do, I'm also going to make the form box sticky by adding this code. So position sticky, position WebKit sticky, and then top 50%. So when you scroll down the page, if you notice that these boxes here are, if they are larger than the actual element here, and we actually need to change our custom CSS to match the offset. So instead of 50, it's going to be 200. And now when we scroll down the page, if the boxes, if this is taller than your form, the form will scroll down. It's a nice visual effect to get people to look at the form. Alright, so here's our section, and now what we're going to do, we're going to add just a couple additional things. So maybe a testimonial area, and then from the testimonial area we will wrap up the page. And first we're going to add, we can do a solid background like that. Then we'll add our slider. And then in the slider, I don't know if Oxygen has it. They do. And then in the slider, we'll just place this. And here's our testimonial 1. We'll go to the next slide and then add another one. And then we'll go to the final slide and add our final one. And obviously, you would populate it and style it in accordance to your page, but now you have a sliding testimonial that goes through and cycles through. This offers social proof. This is nice. The final thing that I'm going to do, I'm actually going to kind of move away from what they have me doing here, and I'm going to add a call to action button here, and I'm going to change it to maybe a light gray, and then change our font to dark blue maybe. See if that looks any decent. It doesn't look decent, but we'll use it. I'm going to add a button here. I'm going to add a button here maybe, and from that we're going to link the buttons. We're going to first offset the button. We're going to link the button to our bottom section, which is going to be our pricing table. So we're going to add another section and use an anchor link. Move that section to the bottom. We're going to use an anchor link to link to the bottom of the page. So the way we do an anchor link in Oxygen is by going to the section settings, choosing the selector ID, and then changing that ID to let's say price. And now, because the CSS is applied to that anchor ID, we just go to the URL for here and add price, and the URL for here and add the price anchor link. So now here's our big section. And what we're going to do now is just add a couple columns, maybe add some pricing information. Let's see if Oxygen has a pricing table. They do have a pricing box. So we'll add our pricing box here, and I don't really use many of the pre-built Oxygen elements, which is why I don't know what they have to offer, but for landing pages, if you're trying to do it quickly, this works pretty well. So here's our pricing boxes, and then maybe at the bottom of the page we'll add a little footer, darker color, and in that footer we will go, that's interesting, and then from the footer we'll add maybe copyright information. So this is our basic page that we just built. And now I'm going to show you what it looks like on the front end of the website. And the way you can do this is, well, I actually can't get there because, but you can click underneath manage, you can click admin and or not admin, you can click front end and it will load on the front end. There's a recording thing over it that I can't change, so I can't get to the front end. Alright, so here is our setup that we have. We have our initial hero with a button that if you click it, it will scroll you to the price section. You have your social proof. This is in a column, and obviously none of this is styled. You have another button that brings you down to the pricing section, and you have your form, and the form isn't looking too hot because our placeholder is not working. So we'll actually make this height 500 and save it, and then reload this on the front end. And here we go. Now it's looking a little better. But we would use our plugin, our form plugin, to enter a form here. As you can see, we've added a sticky element, so it sticks to the top of the screen when you scroll down. That little effect here makes it a little more visible to your user. And just like that, we have our landing page. Now I want to talk about a couple things after we have our landing page built that we can use to expand upon. So it depends on what you're trying to sell, and it depends on how your placement is. But say we have a form here, and it's going to copy the fields that are in this template here. So we just enter our form and schedule now, and then we'll redirect the form to maybe a thank you page once they submit it. If we're trying to sell a product, which is why I added these bottom sections, because you wouldn't have both of these sections, the form and the pricing, in a single page. You'd have one or the other. If you're doing pricing, I think the best way to do that would be to add your buttons with the anchor link and bring you directly down to the pricing. But if you're trying to sell something, it depends on what you're trying to sell. You can make these buttons link to a WooCommerce page, a WooCommerce checkout page, or you could use something like, I really like WP Simple Pay, and you can add buttons from WP Simple Pay and have a pop-up, and from that pop-up people would pay immediately. You can also use LearnDash or another learning management system if you're trying to sell a course product, and replace these buttons with short codes that are LearnDash buttons, and when you click on the LearnDash button it brings you to the LearnDash checkout. There are a lot of ways to go about this, but Oxygen is a really good tool if you're trying to just build your basic landing page, just trying to get the structure out there. The way I do all my pages is, as you can see, you have your main section for each section of content, you have your columns, which I use to break up the page, and then you have the individual content elements. And especially for a landing page, you can use a lot of the pre-made Oxygen elements while keeping your structure unique by building it from scratch. The one additional thing to think about is what it looks like when it is on a smaller device. And in all honesty, most times if you're using Oxygen columns, you can get away without doing anything different. Because I have this offset by 100, I'm going to need to go to margin and set that to 0. But really, I don't need to make any additional changes here. It looks pretty good the way it is. I'm actually going to go and hide this because that's ruining our vertical centering. But it's pretty easy, pretty simple to do. Here's your landing page. If you want a complete landing page, you can click on the link in the description. It'll bring you to a download page, enter your email, and it will email you essentially a copy of this page built on Oxygen that you can then install on your website and use like that. Hopefully this video helped you out. If you're trying to build a landing page, gave you a couple ideas, things to keep in mind. Very simple to build it by yourself. There are a lot of pre-made elements in Oxygen, such as your icon box and your pricing tables that you can utilize as well. That's about it. Using anchor links and sticky elements in the page is helpful usually because it adds additional usability to the page, and making things sticky, make them pop out, more people are going to enter into them. But I mean, you can use Oxygen, one-time single payment of I think $90, as opposed to other solutions out there, specifically Clickfunnels, which I can't believe that they get away charging $94 a month to get a page like this. You can do this in Oxygen very easily. Hopefully this video helped. If you liked it, give me a subscription, thumbs up, and ask any questions you may have in the comment section below.